Well, howdy there, folks. How's it going today? I hope you're all doing really good. Well, I got my coffee out early morning. You know what that means. That's right. I got to do some fret work. Seems like that's when I always do it. Probably not the best time. I should wait and let my hands loosen up, but in any case, that's when I do it. So we got a Squier affinity here on the bench. This belongs to a gentleman that lives locally. Pretty much like new condition. I mean, it's just got some fingerprints on it. I haven't even wiped them off yet. It does have some sharp fret ends, which they normally do. So we'll have to take care of that. And there's a complaint of a buzz somewhere in the fretboard, so we'll also check that out too. So I'm very familiar with these guitars here. I actually own one that's identical to this. I've relicked mine and played it pretty much to pieces, but I'll give you a quick look at the comparison here. Okay, so mine did look basically identical to this. So here it is relicked, and it's not all just relic work. There's a lot of honest dings and dents. This guitar's hit the floor many times, cement floors, you name it. Here's the back. It's a good old guitar, though. This thing just plays itself. So you can see, well, even the difference in the color is quite a bit since the relic work. So from that to that. Now you can see I put saddles on mine, made my own string tree. The neck is basically just honest playware. I play this guitar all the time. Of all the guitars I own, this one probably gets played more than any of them. I know it's hard to believe, but it's just what it is. Honestly, the neck on this guitar is one of the best feeling profiles I've ever held in my hand. That's a lot of the reason why I gravitate towards this. Not only that, it hangs out in the shop. It goes from room to room. It gets dinged and beat up, and that's okay. I try to donate one guitar just for that, so I don't have to worry about destroying my other guitars or collectibles. So there you go, relic to new. I can show you guys how to do that too. I got some tricks for doing relic work that's probably honestly more legit than some of the stuff I've seen that they're doing professionally. When I get done with it, it even smells like an old guitar. I'll get into that someday. Maybe I'll pick up one of these and relic it and show you guys how I go about it. So anyway, what we're going to do today is take the strings off this. I got to clean these fret ends up. Those are really sharp. And then what we'll do, I think I'll take it apart. I'll take the neck off it so I can work on it easier. And what we'll do is we'll clean the fret ends up, and then I'll straighten the neck right out, put a straight edge on it. Then we'll take a fret rocker and go down through them and see what's going on here. All right, let's get going. Well, how's everybody doing? I hope you guys are all doing really good and staying out of trouble. Would like to say thank you to all the nice comments and whatnot you guys have been leaving on the channel lately. I don't expect that stuff. I'm just a nobody, but it seems like you guys enjoy what I do and seem to appreciate it. And I just wanted to extend my thanks out to you folks. This is really my whole life, basically. This is what I've been doing most of my life. Something with a guitar. Not a professional musician, but I was a weekend warrior, when I was young, playing gigs every weekend and doing that stuff. So now it's just really more about my passion for guitars. So let's get the strings cut off here. And again, thank you to all of you for being very kind in the comment section. As I said before, I know there's a lot better video production and whatnot out there, and I just want you guys to just get the vibe like you're standing beside me at the bench, like an old friend, you know. That's really the vibe that I'm hoping that comes across on film, which is really very true. I mean, especially some of you guys on this channel, I wouldn't mind meeting some of you guys, you know. Seems like some really cool people out there, and again, you know, I'm very humbled that you guys would even stop by and watch anything that I do. Like I said, I'm just an average Joe here, but hopefully, you know, I can pass some information along to a few of you too. I mean, hopefully I've learned something over the years doing this. All right, let's get the neck off it. Okay. I don't know if you guys watch the YouTube channel 5 Watt World or not, but Keith Williams is the guy that runs that channel. I don't know him, but I've been watching his videos for a few years, and I actually watched one the other day that he did on the history of Squier guitars, which was really a great video. He does a great job as far as, you know, his video production, and he really does his research on the history, which is also very cool. Eventually, I may dive into that as well. I have some viewers on my channel that have vision impairment, so I want to point this out. I haven't been doing it lately, but I've been trying to do some in-depth explanations on my videos, and you guys are going to hear me repeat myself a lot and say things that are quite obvious on the camera, okay, you know, but that's why I'm doing it, because there are people with vision impairments that you know, like to check these videos out, and a lot of them just like to listen to my voice and go to sleep, from what I understand too. So whatever works, I guess. But in any case, that's why I explain stuff a little more in depth at times. So just bear with me. It's a small price to pay, and I'm very happy to do it. And you know, it's enjoyable to these folks too. So we can't exclude them. That's just the way it goes. Okay, off with the neck. Well, we got some writing in here on the back of the neck. Let's see what we got. Okay, so here's the number written, SGE9014. And then on the bottom, it's kind of hard to read, but it looks like 1704 something 18 something. Now, right out of the gate here, I see something that's kind of funky. Do you guys see it? I mean, there's 8 holes here. This guitar's never been apart either, so I really don't understand that. That is definitely from the factory, so I gotta take a peek at the body here and see what's going on. Okay, we're looking at the neck pocket. Now there's 4 holes where the neck bolt's on, and there's 4 smaller holes in the middle of the pocket that look to be smaller. I don't really know what's going on, if that was some sort of an alignment pin to hold the body while they shaped it. Seems weird that the holes are not lined up. Now we got a crack started in between those two, so we're going to take care of that for sure. Really odd that these are chewed up like they are. I just don't understand that. And there's a hole going back through there. Okay, now that's different than mine. Honestly, I don't think they're the same year. I think mine could be a little bit older than this one, but that's concerning with these holes here. I don't I just can't wrap my head around why there's 8 holes there. So in any case, we're going to plug the ones that don't belong. That's really not a good scenario. You've got these holes drilled right next to each other with just, I don't know, barely an eighth of an inch between the holes. Not even that, actually, in some cases. So you don't have a lot of holding power there. Your threads, your screw go in there, but if that breaks out, the neck's going to fall off. Really odd. Okay, that's why they're inexpensive, I guess. It wouldn't surprise me if you found this on American guitars throughout the ages either, but in any case, that's what we're dealing with, and we're going to take care of that. So let's keep going. I think first what I'll do is take care of the sharp frets. We'll check the neck for high frets, and then we'll glue some plugs in the holes that don't need to be open, and these ones here in the middle of the neck pocket that are not being used, I'm going to plug those as well. Like I said, I can see a crack actually going through the hole, and actually that's going right up into the body. So yeah, we're going to have to hit that with some thin glue, maybe just some CA glue, and make sure that's taken care of too. Okay, so I think we got pretty much the picture painted that we are going to deal with, and should be a pretty easy fix, hopefully, nonetheless. Okay, here's another common thing on these inexpensive guitars. Every one of the tuners are loose. I mean, I haven't touched these. I can turn them with my fingers. I mean, they're just rattling. That can give you some weird buzzy noises too. Okay, so I just wanted to point that out. If you get one of these guitars, go around and tighten every nut and bolt and screw on the guitar, because dollars to donuts, they're loose. It's just part of it. Well, I guess it wouldn't be a bad idea if you have one of these to pop the neck off it and make sure it isn't like this. Now, this is the first time I've ever seen this on a Squier guitar. I'm guessing that just got drilled wrong, before they bolted it on the guitar, and then they discovered it wasn't right and poked some new holes. That's pretty shoddy workmanship, honestly. But in any case, it's nothing I can't fix. So what we're going to do is take care of the sharp ends. I mean, they are definitely poked out there, so we'll get that first, and we'll go on from there. Okay, so usually I take a flat mill file here. This is a fine tooth file. I'm going to do this on camera, which is really not the way I do it, but what you want to do is just ride the file on the very edge. Now I tip it towards the fret just slightly. That way I'm not digging into the wood, okay? Now you can tape these off too, but what I'm basically doing here is running the file across here with no pressure, just to see if any of them hang up. Most of them are hanging up. Like you can feel it. It'll stop the file. Just the lightest pressure, okay? Now, there's a couple pretty pronounced ones here up, 3rd, 5th fret. Again, I'm not using a lot of pressure. I'm really just trying to figure out which ones I need to address, so I'm just using very light pressure. Now, every one of these down here are poked out because I can hardly move the file. So again, you just want to move along. Don't push down on it. Just let it kind of ride along and see if it stops the file or you feel resistance. And, that's a good sign that they're not flush. So once that's done, I'll do both sides, get the fret rocker out, and we'll check that. If I have to whip the ends back off, I will. So I'm going to hit the other side real quick, and then we'll get the fret rocker out. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys my preferred method with the neck off the guitar. I'll just hold the guitar almost like, hold the neck almost like I'm in player's position, and then take my file and just run it down across. It's just a better position for me. I have more control over the file, the angle of the file, all that kind of stuff. So that's how I do it off camera. I just wanted to demonstrate that. It's really, for me, the best position to perform that work. So just wanted to make sure you guys didn't think I was just doing it all on the bench, which is very awkward in front of the camera. Okay, so we got the fret ends nice and smooth. My rule of thumb is this: if a little kid can't touch it and run his hand down it without cutting his fingers, then it's not going to be good for you to play either. Not real comfortable. All right, let's get the fret rocker on it. Okay, you guys have seen this before many times. You got to span 3 frets when you do this, okay? Only 3. And if it teeter-totters like that, that's high, real high. Now I'm just going to get down through and check a few of them here at random. That's extremely high. Alright, I'm just going to start up on the nut end of the fretboard, if you will. 2nd fret's real high. Yeah. That one's okay. A lot of high frets here. So what I'm going to do first is get my fret hammer out and see if I can pound these down. If they don't stay down, I may put them in the press them, hit them with some glue. I'd rather not. I'd like to see if I could just drive them back down, honestly, and not deal with a bunch of glue and cleanup and all that. So I think what we'll do right now is get the hammer out, see if we can drive these down. Alright, so I'm starting down on the heel end of the neck here. The next to the last piece of fret wire was extremely high. Okay, so that worked. It did go down by hitting it with the fret hammer. So what I'm going to do is go all the way across this whole neck. I'm going to try to drive all the frets down. Obviously, once I do that, I'm going to have to hit it with the flat file on the sides, because remember, they'll grow a little bit as you flatten them out. So that's my plan, and I think that is going to work. Hopefully, that will at least take a lot of them out of the workload, if you will. And, you know, I might only have to hit a few of them with glue to hold them down. So that is something to try. Make sure you use a dead blow hammer. You don't want to use a regular carpentry hammer. It'll dent your fret wire and it'll ruin it. Alright, so I'll save you all the hammering noise, and I'm just going to get down through it. Okay, well, I got them all drove down. I can feel them poked back out quite a bit, actually, so you know, in hindsight, maybe I should have just drove them down first instead of filing the sharp ends off, but I didn't know there was that many bad frets, so now I'm going to clean them up too. There's a lot of gunk on them and a little bit of fret wear here. If you guys hear any machinery or loud trucks running, it's the plow truck that's going by. The road's a glare ice, so we got some little bit of fret wear here and string groove, but nothing too substantial. I can definitely clean that up. So what I'm going to do now is go back down through the fret rocker and check them out, make sure they're down. Now that second fret's still high. I'm going to try to pound that one down again. Okay, that worked. That's good. You know, they may have been seated pretty decent from the factory, but, you know, when they get into different climates, they will shrink. Sometimes the frets will lift. I don't know if they glue these in at the factory. Now, those are feeling pretty decent. Now, I'm just checking them in 3 points. You really should check the outside, maybe come in 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch. Basically, try to hit where the strings are going to hit, okay? They can be down and seated on the outsides and even in the middle, and then have a little hump, you know, where the A string and the B string will be. So I have run into that before. Okay, looking pretty good here. Okay, so I just filed the fret sprouts down again, and got the sharp ends off the end of the fret wire. Now I'm going to take some micro mesh pads, and I'm going to clean up the gunk that's on the frets. I'm going to start with, let's start with 600. Now I just use a little bit of pressure here. It's kind of awkward where I'm doing this, but again, get yourself in a good, comfortable position. It's kind of hard to demonstrate some of this stuff on the bench because that's not how I do it a lot of times. It's, you know, sometimes I'll sit in a chair even, and just to give me a better work angle and being able to get in a better position to do this stuff. So, you know, some of it I will do on the bench, some of it I won't, but just make sure you're comfortable when you're doing it and you have a good path to perform the work without, you know, wrapping yourself up like a pretzel to do it. If you can't really see perfectly, you know, I wear reading glasses now as I'm getting older, so sometimes I'll forget and think I can still see close up, but I really can't. So it's good to be able to see what you're doing for sure, obviously. Again, you know, just take your time with this and basically just go through the motions, you know. First things first, I like to get all that gunk off them so they will shine again. Now that needs a little bit more love there up by the heel, so I'll just go over those lightly. Okay, now I'm going to step it up to 1000 grit micro mesh, and I'm going to do the same thing. Now, you probably noticed that I'm not taping the fretboard off here. This is my method, you know. It depends on the guitar, what I'm doing for work that day, but a lot of times I will not tape the fretboard off. It's, you know, a step that you probably shouldn't skip until you really get the hang of doing it. And when I use this micro mesh, I'm always spanning at least 3 frets. And when I get towards the nut where it's just 2, I will just focus on 1 fret and just let the micro mesh pad kind of ride on the fret behind it. So I'm always doing the leading edge, if you will. And I put my fingers and a little bit of pressure right over the fret wire on the back of the micro mesh pad. And, you know, just lightly. You don't need to bear down that hard to clean these up. And by doing this, you know, I'm able to do it without scratching the fretboard up. I don't have to tape it off. It speeds up the process for me, and it also allows me to see, you know, what I'm doing a little cleaner sometimes. So now we're on to 3500 grit micro mesh, which, you know, there's not much resistance here. It's basically just putting a little polish on them. Now I'm not going to have to recrown these because there's not a ton of play wear here. They look pretty decent, so that's one step I'm not going to perform in this video. And I think after I get this done, I'll probably hit it with a fret eraser, real fine grit, and then I'll plug the holes in the heel. Okay. Now, a lot of guys don't like these fret erasers. It leaves these little eraser boogers, I call them. It's just, little filings of the eraser that come off when you're using them. Now, some guys just absolutely refuse to use these. I don't mind them, actually. I think they work pretty good. I've got a bunch of different grits, and like I said, I don't have a problem using them. Now, it's basically like an eraser you'd have at school, but it's got some grit to it. Now, you can see mine has a groove kind of worn right in on one side. And a lot of guys don't use them like this, but I will run that down the fret ends after I've filed everything off, and it just kind of smooths everything up as far as the points on the crown and whatnot. So I'll do my fret edges with these as well. That's why I have this big groove worn into this one. And I found it works really good, at least for me. I mean, it's not for everybody probably, but, that does smooth them up quite a bit too. Okay, so enough of that. What I got to do now is figure out which holes are going to stay and which ones I need to plug. Okay, so I got the guitar body back on the bench here. What I'm going to do is just set the neck in the neck pocket, butt it right up to the guitar body. Now I can see which holes line up and which ones don't. So the two forward holes towards the nut, those are going to stay. And the holes in the back, I'm going to go in the forward holes too. So the ones that are closest to the heel, I'll plug. And the ones up by the front of the heel where the neck pocket starts, I'll plug the back ones and leave the ones closest to the nut, and that'll take care of it. Okay, so, again, this is something I just run into here today, so it probably ain't a bad idea to pop the neck off, I guess, and just take a peek. I've never run into this yet, but, you can't leave that. That's just an accident waiting to happen here. Okay, let's plug them up, and that'll probably be it for today on this one. All right, I'm just putting a pencil mark around the ones that I'm going to plug. Now, you can also see that the holes, the extra holes, are not in line with the ones that actually belong there, at least the ones that the bolts were into. So somebody misdrilled by the looks of it and discovered that it would not line up with the bolts in the neck pocket and re-drilled it. Again, this guitar has never been apart, so that's definitely factory. The neck pocket's nice and tight though. It's decent. I mean, I've seen worse. All right, well, anyway, we got to plug them. Okay, well, I got a little fish glue here. And I got some bamboo dowels here. I'm just going to use those to plug the hole. A little shot of fish glue. And usually give them a little spin. And just make sure they got good glue coverage there. Bamboo's pretty rugged, so, I don't mind using it for stuff like this. They're not going to get plugged and re-drilled or anything. I would prefer a hardwood dowel probably if that was the case, but in this situation this should work just fine. And we'll just nip them off afterwards. I suppose I could have just used one and kept cutting it off, but that's okay. Alright, there's another one. And this one's really close. It's almost going to probably get glue in the hole. Now, I might have to clean the holes out that we're going to use, too. Well, I guess it's I guess there is a little bit of a wall in between them, so that's good. All right, a little more glue. Just going to pull some of that in, and I'm going to nip them off. Now you can wait until they dry and do it then too. I don't really have any preference. I just make sure that I do it either before the glue dries or after, one or the other, you know. Okay, we'll pare them down afterwards. I'm just going to wipe some of that excess glue off, and we should be good to go. All right, so that's probably going to end this video. Wow, I got a half hour in this one already. But there's some things to go over. If you pick up one of these guitars, like I said, even if you own one, just go over all the hardware, tighten it up, and check that stuff out, because it's always loose. Every foreign guitar that I've worked on here, you know, basically, I haven't seen one that wasn't loose. So the tuners, even the pick guard screws, all that stuff is generally loose, the strap buttons. So, you know, go over that stuff. It's not a big deal. Next time you take your strings off, pop the neck, make sure it doesn't have this thing going on with 8 holes in it. Not a bad thing to check. Now, like I said, I've never seen this before, but it's always a mystery when you take them apart, right? All right, folks, well, I think I'm going to wrap it up, let those dry. I'll tighten everything up, and I'll put it back together. I'll check the frets one more time, make sure they're all leveled good, and we'll just put it back together, get some strings on it. Should be in pretty good shape. Other than that, pretty nice guitar. It's got the same neck profile as my tele. Feels identical. Really good neck. There's no doubt about that. I'd even buy one of these just for the neck, honestly. But in any case, hopefully this helps you guys out. Again, I really appreciate all the nice comments and views, and seems like some of this info is helping a few people, which is really the whole goal here. All right, folks, well, enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you real soon. Be good. Okie doke.